want to address the announcement that was made earlier today by Austin City Manager Spencer Cronk, naming me as the lone finalist to serve as the permanent Chief of Police here in Austin. I was both honored and humbled by this opportunity. I have been a member of the Austin Police Department for 28 years, and I've spent the last 17 months serving as the interim chief. These have been a great 17 months, getting to, again, serve as the chief in a community that I've grown up with, that I call my home, with men and women that I consider my family. It really has been a tremendous opportunity. I believe we are one of the most professional police departments across this country, albeit we are not a perfect department, but we learn anytime we come up short, and we do better the next time. I look forward to the process that lies before us, that we will have with community engagement, an opportunity for me to hear from the community on things that are important to them, on concerns that they may have, but also on opportunities as we move forward. So again, I am both honored and humbled to have this opportunity before me. I look forward to the process, and again, I'm to be able to have served in this role over the past 17 months has been my greatest honor. With that, I'll open it up for questions.
Chief, being from the area, growing up, going to school here at UT CNEDS, and then coming in, you've spent your entire career with the Austin Police Department. Was this something that you had envisioned or at least hoped for to happen in your career?
When I started law enforcement 28 years ago with the Austin Police Department, this is not a day I ever envisioned. I just wanted to be a police officer. I learned in high school a class that I took called Street Law, and it was a study of law enforcement at the local, the state, the national level. That's where I initially got my love for policing, and really where it kind of set me on the path to join the police department. But never did I see myself working up the ranks, getting into the administrative positions, and ultimately getting the opportunity to serve the role that I have this past 17 months as interim chief. So no, this is not something that I had ever envisioned when I started my career, but I did see as I worked through my career the opportunities that I had as I moved into different positions and different ranks, hopefully to let the department do more and do better, and really the roles that I could take on to empower officers, again, to police this community in a way that the community wants, to keep this community safe, and really to make sure that they have the resources necessary to do so. So it's been a great opportunity.
Chief, has there ever been anybody hired as chief internally from someone inside the department, or is this first of its kind?
It has happened, but I believe it's been at least 3 decades ago now that has happened.
What do you think the community learned from you as far as your leadership during the Austin bombings? A lot of people have said that was a big indication of them, of your role, what it would be as a permanent police chief.
Well, I think what I would focus on is the role that I played really was marshaling the resources that we had here. We had such tremendous assistance from the federal government, both the FBI, the ATF, we had the U.S. Postal Service, Texas Department of Public Safety, and then of course the Austin Police Department. We had so many resources that were brought to bear here to Austin to put a stop to what was happening in our community. And really my role was just making sure that we utilize those resources to the best of our abilities to put what was happening to a stop. And then really my focus was communicating with our community, making sure that everyone was informed of the important steps they needed to take to keep themselves, their neighbors, and their community safe as well. This was something that really required all of Austin for us to get through what was happening to our community. And I think we all learned lessons along the way.
If you do become chief, what will be some of your top priorities?
So what's important to note is I haven't waited for this moment to start implementing my priorities. I actually have reorganized the department. I've reorganized the command structure to break us down into smaller sectors so that we can really get down to neighborhood-specific policing, so that we can have commanders that have more time to spend in their area commands versus when they had larger commands and did not have as much time. I think some of the challenges that we will face going forward are well known and have been well documented. We are currently working without a labor agreement, and I think it's important that we work as hard as possible to get a labor agreement back in place so that this community has a system that they believe in of accountability and oversight, and that the officers have working conditions that they understand what they will be for the next 3 to 5 years. I think that that's important. I think we're coming in on the heels of 2 years of increases in violent crime, and that is not lost on us. I have just put in place over the past 2 months what we're designing now, a violent crimes task force, a group of officers that will focus at the street level on violent crimes. I'm happy to report that as of March statistics, the violent crime rate in Austin is down so far this year, but it's down on 2 years of increases, and so we're not going to sit back and not take steps for that. So that's also going to be important. And then another priority will be the matrix report. I think the community is well aware of the study that was done on the police department, on our community policing efforts, and ways we can do things better and different. We're going to work very hard this year on the full implementation of that report as well, as we work towards really revising how we're doing community policing here in Austin. And we're going to focus really at the neighborhood level, but then we also want to work with evidence-based practices as well, so that we can ensure that what we do in the community, the practices, the programs that we implement, they are either proven to have already worked in other communities, or if we are the first out with this, that we're testing them in a way that we know that they're effective.
Chief Manley, so the Cronk said that one of the things he likes the most about you is that you know how to accept your errors and learn from them. During these last 17 months, what have been the biggest lessons that you've learned and that you remember?
You know, I think that have there been missteps over the 17 months? Of course they have. We're the 11th largest city in the country. We're a police department with 1,900 officers and 700 civilians. So instead of focusing on a specific misstep or the likes, what I would say is my interest in, as we move forward, learning from the community on what is important to them so we can make sure that we're meeting their expectations. I will say this, I do believe as a department, when we come up short, that we understand it, we learn from it, and we take steps to make sure it doesn't happen again. So I look forward to the engagement process that we're going to go through over this next month to get feedback from the community to make sure that I am clear on all of the expectations so that I can make sure we're gearing our operations towards meeting them.
Can you talk about some of the differences between you and former Chief Art Acevedo and some of the things you might have learned from him?
You know, Art Acevedo is a great friend, and he was a great mentor to me, and I had the benefit of working for him for 9.5 years, and he was a leader like no other that I've worked for, and I think probably the greatest value that I learned from him is the importance of community, the importance of working with your community, of being a part of your community, of bringing the community into policing so that we're all working together. I think that as you asked for differences, I think they're probably duly noted in communication styles that we communicate very differently, but I learned a lot from him on the importance of communication, the importance of transparency, and keeping our community well informed.
During the 3 weeks in March during the Austin bombings, you were on TV regularly, on national TV there for those past 2 weeks, and people got to see you as a police officer, as a leader, as a chief. Did you ever get offered another job outside of this?
You know, I don't know whether that's really important to discuss because my interest has been here in Austin the whole time. And those offers, whether or not they had come in, as interesting as they may have been, this is my home, this is my heart, and this is where I want to be.
So no hint on how interesting they may have been.
I want to be here in Austin with this community and with my department.
Last question.
Chief, what did you...
Actually, we've got work to do, so this is, again, this is not the time to celebrate. Again, I'm honored, I'm humbled by the opportunity that's before me. I'm ecstatic about the past 17 months that I've had to do something that I never thought I'd have the opportunity to do. But this isn't about celebration. This is about getting to work and making sure we keep this community safe. Thank you very much.
Thank
Chief.
you.